Hey, and welcome back to the Cashmere Couch. If you're new here, my name is Tulasi, and this is the Cashmere Couch, whether I'm physically on it or not. This is where we discuss the magic and the mayhem of motherhood, the things that no one told you about, the things that people glazed over, like sugar coated over, and now that you're experiencing it for yourself, you realize that there is so much that people have not talked about. The things that your mom didn't tell you, the things that social media didn't tell you, even though I feel like now there is a bit more of an awareness into the struggles of motherhood. If you are new to motherhood, please know that you're not alone. Everyone has been through their own struggles. A lot of the struggles kind of look the same. If you find yourself on the floor in the middle of the night crying because you're just exhausted, but you can't sleep because you're so exhausted, then please know that you're not alone. If you feel like any of the videos that you've watched in my channel already resonate with you, do subscribe because I have more videos coming every week. I try to post consistently every Sunday. I just missed like one Sunday, but I made up for it. Like I posted on like a Wednesday instead, and then the following Sunday I did post. So there are going to be regular posts where we discuss the different struggles of motherhood, what you should know before you embark on certain aspects of motherhood, and things like that. So grab a drink if you are breastfeeding, then have your baby with you while you watch this, because today we are going back to talk about breastfeeding. And the topic that we are about to discuss is something that I feel would have been very useful to me if someone had made a video like this before, or if I had managed to find it. It would have been very useful to me because there are a lot of things that I had to learn on my own. So let's go. So, what we're going to talk about now is something that I like to call the tricks of the trade. What makes breastfeeding a lot easier? Now, I do have other videos on breastfeeding where we talk a little bit more about the complications that you can face, what happens when you have something that is known as mastitis. I'm planning to talk a little bit more about that in my next video. Pain relief and things like that. We can discuss all that a little later. Right now, this video is meant for you if you are struggling with basically just positioning yourself. You see, when I say that there are a lot of things that are left unsaid, I'm talking about the small things like these that make a very big difference. I know of a girlfriend who was struggling so badly with her positioning that she ended up having really bad backache. And that lasted for quite some time. You need to understand that when you have just birthed a baby, you have traumatized your body. And even though they say things like, the mother's body, a woman's body is designed to birth a baby, there are a lot of time and there is a lot of time that is required to heal. So during that healing process, you need to make sure that you are comfortable, you're allowing your body to heal. And by breastfeeding in awkward positions, you're not helping your body. So let's talk a little bit about what we can do to make the journey into breastfeeding that much more comfortable for you. First, as always, logistics. What do you need to breastfeed? A baby? You need to have your milk come in. For some people, the first few days after birth, the milk doesn't immediately come in. You have something else called the colostrum, which is liquid gold, as they say it. It's the thicker consistency of milk. It's a little bit yellowish. It's full of fats and, all the good stuff for your baby. And then slowly the milk starts flowing. So if you are confused as to why you don't have milk yet, we can talk about it in another video. I really want to go into details about the milk flowing and things like that. But I do have another video, I'm going to post it somewhere here, where I did discuss what exactly colostrum is and what the hormones in your body are that allow your milk to actually flow. And when you're really anxious about the milk flow, you're stressed out, your body is going through stress, then that's actually going to be counterproductive if you're trying to breastfeed. So you need to basically be very comfortable when you're breastfeeding. When we're talking about logistics, you need the baby, right? Obviously. Now, the baby is going to latch onto your boob. And so there is obviously going to be some form of having to bend forward. And so if the baby is on your lap and you're bending forward, then that's going to cause some back pain. I know a lot of friends who just use pillows. That's fine, but then you need to have a firm pillow, a pillow that is firm enough to take the weight of your baby, and that helps to support your posture when you are feeding the baby, so you can relax your back and you can like lean back onto a backrest or whatever, and that's gonna help. Okay, now one thing that I invested in, to be honest, there are a lot of things that I invested in that I actually did not end up using, but the one thing that I used a lot was my breastfeeding pillow. I got one off of Shopee. It's a very famous brand. It's called Boppy. I would recommend it to anyone. I actually got it for two of my friends postpartum because it just helped me so much. So what the Boppy pillow is, it's just basically like a C-shaped pillow. I don't have mine now because my kids have outgrown them. I had two, one for each child. You get to use your nursing pillow. You can get any brand nursing pillow. I know there are a few good ones that are like square shaped that also support like your arms and stuff like that. You could choose to invest in those. You don't need something that is too expensive. My Boppy pillow was about 70 Sing dollars, so it was still okay for me. And I managed to use it till like my kids were 1 year old each. So, what else you can use your breastfeeding pillow possibly for? Even if you're done breastfeeding, you could use it for tummy time for your baby. So your baby rests its chest on the boppy pillow. You could also use it as like a backrest for your baby when your baby is starting to sit up. So it's got a lot of uses for 70 Sing dollars. I thought it was very worth it, which is why I got the next one for the next baby. Now, my boppy pillow, what it did for me was to maintain my posture. So I could sit up straight, right? And then have the boppy pillow over me, and it was thick enough to come just under my boobs. And so when my baby would rest on it, I didn't have to slouch at all. And I could very comfortably feed my baby. For my firstborn, I actually had very bad internal vaginal tears. So I also got myself that donut pillow that you sit on that releases pressure from your bum, yeah. And that just made things a lot more comfortable. So you really have to listen to your body. If you feel aches and pains that you're not supposed to, especially when you're freshly postpartum, then you need to ensure that you have those things around you. Another thing that made my journey a lot better was to have this huge water bottle. Back then I wasn't using my Stanley. Right now I have a Stanley, but back then it was just like some random brandless. You don't need to have like fancy stuff to get your body to feel good. Just get a really big bottle of water, fill it up. It helps, a lot of moms, especially when you're staying in a place as humid and hot as Singapore, it helps to have iced water. You just sip on it the whole day. I know, if you have watched my Pantang's video, Old Wives' Tale, they tell you not to have cold water because the wind gets into your body. You're supposed to keep your body warm and all that. But honestly speaking, sometimes it's just so hot. You're already uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe mix cold water with room temperature water, and there you go. So just make sure you're hydrated. One of the biggest tips that I give girls who ask me about breast milk supply is to ensure that you are constantly hydrated. You will not believe the difference that it makes when you have a lot of water the flow is just that much better. Of course, there are other things, which again we'll talk about in the next video. This is going to be a series, but having a water bottle near you really would help. I do know of some girls who talk about having like their own little pantry, portable pantry thing that's going on in the area that they breastfeed, where they have snacks and things like that. I have eaten over my baby's body before while breastfeeding, and I have gotten food on my baby. That's pretty normal. But I wouldn't recommend snacking. To be really honest with you, especially when you are following postpartum rules, you shouldn't really be having too many snacks because you know what they say when you're breastfeeding, you need about an extra 500 calories in your diet. But a lot of times we tend to overdo it, and then when you're trying to drop the weight after the baby comes, which again, honestly, you don't have to. But if you're like me, very uncomfortable with the weight gain and it was causing so much of body aches for me, it was very difficult to lose the weight when I had gained it, right? So that's just a tip from me. You don't have to have it. The most important thing is that you have good support when you are breastfeeding. Hydration, have your phone with you, do something that isolates you from the rest of the world because you can make it work like it's a me time for you. Okay. You could choose to have aromatherapy in the room that could, calm the baby down as well. Again, you need to check if whatever it is that you're burning or diffusing is safe for baby. For the most part, when my kids were born, it was eucalyptus. That was you could smell eucalyptus everywhere in the house. And again, if it's your first baby, it's going to be a lot more precious, the whole experience, right? When it's your second baby, your third baby, I suppose you're so done with the whole, this needs to be an experience thing. But your body automatically knows what works for you with your second pregnancy or your third baby or whatever. But if it's your first time, it is worth it to invest in the things that you want to invest in. If you want to get a cozy blanket that you keep exclusively for breastfeeding, go ahead. If you have space in your room, in your house, somewhere to have an armchair that you use for breastfeeding, go ahead. I didn't have space in my house and I already had like a little corner where I was pretty comfortable sitting down. That was also the place that I would pump in the middle of the night. It was just by my bed, so it was very convenient for me. To be really honest with you, that's all you need. And if you are like me, the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be very helpful. Now, in the middle of the night, when the baby cries like at 2, 3 a.m., if your baby is not sleeping with you and you're having the baby on a cot, you're going to have to get up, go to the cot, take the baby, get to your comfort zone where you breastfeed, sit down and breastfeed, and hope that you don't smother your baby because you're falling asleep. Okay. After a while, what worked for me was to get the baby into the bed with me and I would breastfeed as I would sleep. Now, there are a few things that you need to consider because I've heard a lot of advice from a lot of different people. This is just what works for me, all right? I've been told not to feed the baby while I sleep for two main reasons. One, safety. You might smother the baby. To be really honest with you, I believe in the maternal instinct. You won't do it. But then again, I've heard of stories where it has happened, so I don't know. Okay, it has worked for me. Eventually, we just threw the cot out, and baby started to co-sleep with us. The one problem, if you would consider it a problem, it's not really a problem for me. But the thing is that if you train your kids to co-sleep with you, then you have to figure out at some point to train them to be able to sleep independently. For me, I still sleep with my kids. I still co-sleep with them. We don't have enough space on our bed, and now my husband's sleeping on the floor. It is starting to become a problem because he doesn't have like very good rest. And for me as well, even though it's a queen size bed with two kids who like to throw their hands and their legs all over my body, I still feel like it's very difficult to get a good night's sleep because I'm sleeping smack in the middle of the both of them. I don't really get to turn and stuff like that. So we're thinking of redesigning the room to fit like a bigger bed so that all of us can sleep together. Now, if co-sleeping is an issue for you, then do make sure that you have a good, comfortable space to do your breastfeeding at, because that is going to help you produce more milk actually, because you're comfortable, you're not irritated, you're not, especially when you're waking up in the middle of the night, you want to sit in a position where you're comfortable, right? And if you're okay with co-sleeping, then you can do what I did. I basically just turned to my side and I let my boob just fall over baby's face, and baby is able to drink. If you have a very fresh newborn, then that might not be ideal, because one, your boob is possibly bigger than the baby's face. So the smothering can happen. Two, you want baby to burp. So you want to make sure that you're seated up. And that's why I say having a nursing pillow is going to be your best friend. That's going to be your best friend. You also want to make sure you're wearing clothes that are helping you to breastfeed. So for a long time, and actually even now, my 2 year old still feeds off of me. Whenever I go out, I can't wear tops that do not allow me to reveal my boob very well. So I don't wear maternity clothes, but I wear clothes that have like a lower neckline where I can just pull it down. Or I wear clothes that are, say, I'm wearing a turtleneck, and so I need easy access to my boob. It's a crop tee, so I can just pull it up instead. It's gotten to a point where my kid knows exactly how to, get the boob out. And do I wear nursing bras? No, I don't. I don't. I just wear whatever I feel comfortable in. And, you honestly don't need like a nursing bra where you can unhook stuff. You don't need it. All you need is to be able to pull your bra down and then take your boob out. It's not rocket science. Honestly, it's not something. I've never used a nursing bra. I've been fine. Does it damage your bras over time? I mean, if you're using like Triumph, or I don't know what other really expensive bra brands are out there, then yeah, maybe invest in a nursing bra. But I just feel like it's not absolutely necessary. If your baby is a little bit older, then you can choose to lie on your side when you sleep and then get the baby to drink as the baby sleeps as well. There's another issue that can arise with this sleeping with your child while you feed. Obviously, you are doing it because you want to be comfortable, and you will be comfortable enough to fall asleep because you are just going to be that exhausted, right? Problem: baby sleeps with your boob in his or her mouth. And when this becomes a habit, baby starts to equate your nipple with comfort. And so every time after that, baby starts screaming because baby is uncomfortable for whatever reason. Baby is hot. Maybe baby is really tired but can't sleep. Then your nipple becomes the only thing that can shut baby up. And this is something that I'm experiencing now with my 2 year old. I'm very confused about weaning her off, because first baby, she weaned off herself. Okay. They call it self-weaning, right? This baby, she suckles for comfort, and I'm talking like every half hour, as long as she sees me. So when I'm not there, she's fine. But every time she sees me, she just climbs onto my lap and she starts to tug on my top. And it can get a little uncomfortable when you're in someone else's house, when you're outside. You need to go find a place where you can sit and feed. For the most part, when I leave the house, I carry a swaddle with me so I can just, cover. You could buy a nursing cover if you want. I just don't really like the way it sits on me. I have not found a nursing cover that is comfortable enough. You will figure it out at some point to be able to feed in public, to be able to feed when you're in someone else's house. You don't have your nursing pillow with you. But for the first few months, when you're resting, when you are feeding on demand, I think it would be really helpful to get a nursing pillow. This is not sponsored, by the way, this video. This is just based off of the experiences of myself and my friends. I still have a lot more things that I want to share about breastfeeding, but I think I'm going to categorize that differently, and I will see you next week with those tips. If any of this resonated with you, then like I said earlier, do subscribe. If you feel like someone needs to hear this, then share the video with them. I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.